the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach, and fitness expert, Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. This is your chance where I sit down with today's top experts in business, mindset, wellness, and success to help you master disruption and thrive.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
He's a sought-after mindset change agent, transformation coach, and dynamic speaker known for freeing people from their self-built mind prisons, unlocking the unlimited potential that resides in all of us to become unstoppable in every area of the life. I'm so thrilled to welcome to the podcast, Luke Harlan.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much, Lisa.
Well, since you are a mind expert, I want to talk to you about winning the war within your mind, because we all face that war.
Sure. No, it's one of those things that we're constantly battling. And the first thing to realize is that that war resides within yourself. Obviously, it's within your own mind, and you're fighting two elements. One are your limitations, your myths, your limiting beliefs, the misconceptions, the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we're battling is the influence of others that we've given permission to allow us to dictate how we think we should live our lives, or what we should do in certain areas of it. So we're battling those two inner voices. And it can be very confusing and frustrating to figure out which is your unique and authentic voice. What do you really want to do? And that takes a lot of practice and mindfulness, but it can be done, and you have the absolute authority and power to do it, to resolve the clarity that you need to achieve the things that you want to do in life.
Well, there's so much to unpack in that. Like, what if in your war of your mind, let's say you're in a battle with others and they're trying to tell you how you're supposed to be, and then you're in something which would be known as a reaction to that. How can you win the war in your mind when it's not self-inflicted?
Sure. Well, actually, at the end of the day, it's all self-inflicted, because we have the ability to choose whether we allow to give our power away, whether we allow to give our decision-making away to the influence of others. And that's the difference, which is in our free will of creating space between, at the end of the day, what we really want to do is to stop reacting emotionally automatically to things that we're triggered by, and this we have an automatic routine in executing, to then start responding intelligently. And how we do that is create some space. So when something happens externally, or someone says something, or you feel the pressure of it, you have to take that pause. And this was very big with Viktor Frankl in A Man's Search for Meaning, which is take that pause. And what I like to tell my clients is ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this serving my goals? What are my goals? What do I want to do? Is my reaction to this, if I follow suit with this, what other people want from me, and it's not what I want for myself, is it really serving my goals? So there's a first step in self-awareness and mindfulness that we can take action on to really kind of put our defenses up and really clarify, instead of just reacting to things, to start intentionally responding to the way we want it to happen, to make sure that we're getting what we want.
So the pause is really key. Any other tips on how to deal with that gap that we all need to create between stimulus and response, so that we can respond with ability instead of, the other option of reacting?
Sure. Well, you really need to know what it is you want. And honestly, that's a lot of times people have a hard time answering that question. There's three questions I always ask my clients and the people I work with is, what is it you really want? Why do you want it? What's that emotional anchor towards it to help you get through the tough times of actually doing it? And the third thing is how are you going to feel when you get it? If you do not have that clarity of what it is you actually want and create that North Star to have that like destination in mind, then you have nothing to litmus test it against. because then you're just defaulting to old behaviors and habits that maybe aren't serving you. If you're not where you want to be in certain areas of your life and something comes along, and then you kind of do go through the motions and you're like, why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep doing that? Well, in order to take that pause and to be mindful and to create that self-awareness, you first need to establish exactly what it is that you want.
That's so good. Clarity is king and it's queen.
Yep.
It's step one. You need to know what
Sure.
it is you want instead of letting your emotions run you. You're coming from more intelligence of knowing that what is this going to resolve and cause if I react this way or that way.
Yeah, I mean, but we're all guilty of it because remember, our brains get about 60,000, thoughts every day and just bombarded, and we can't process it all, so we ignore most of it. And 95% of our decision making paradigm is based on our subconsciously. So
Right.
things happen, and we just have like what's called heuristics, a subroutine. You're just used to reacting a certain way, and most of it's fine, like eating or tying your shoe or driving. You don't remember doing any of these things. You just do it. But if there are certain behaviors, if you react emotionally in a bad way when you're confronted by a certain person, then that may not suit you or suit who you want to become. So yeah, it's something that we all need to be more mindful of. But we first have to identify exactly what it is that we want to change.
Yeah, that clarity on what it is that you want to change is such a wonderful topic. And we all want to have unshakable confidence. So
Oh yeah.
how can we bulletproof unshakable confidence?
Well, yeah, that's always the biggest thing is people say, I'm not taking action because I'm not confident in it. Well, confidence is a skill that can be practiced like any others. And usually there's a modality, an exercise, and there's a framework that I use with my clients called the 6 C's of confidence. And I'll just run through this kind of quickly.
Okay.
The first one we just talked about was clarity, is knowing what you want. If you don't know what you want, then you can't really defend against it. The second is congruence, and this is what's called living in alignment. A lot of times we say what we want, but we're not taking the actions to actually achieve it. So if that's creating friction, and then we get frustrated and overwhelmed because we're not doing what we say, and we lose trust in ourselves, and that lowers our confidence because we don't believe ourselves. The third C is competence, which is it's just skill acquisition. The more we get better at something, the more we get confident in it. And when we have confidence in that skill, then we're more likely to put ourselves out there to execute that skill because we feel confidence in it. Connection is the fourth one. People always forget that like we need that feedback and support. You're not just on an island. You need to put yourself out there and get some of the good critical feedback and the support, the pats on the backs, as well as the jibs at the same time. And we need that energy from people. So that's going to help us really discern whether we're going in the right direction, and we can learn from it. The fifth one, I believe, is capability, which is really more of a mindset belief type thing, which is just knowing you can. The biggest thing I find is that we always tend to remember our losses and not our wins. So when we enter, we can look back and we can see our clients or see people we've helped and these extraordinary things that we've done and accomplished in our lives, but we're
Yeah.
not thinking about that when we're nervous or fearful or hesitant to start something new. All we think about is all the times we've made mistakes or stumbled and fell, so we don't feel that confidence. So go back to those wins and remember that you're more than capable to do anything and everything. And 9 times out of 10, you've already done it. So go back and look at your wins. And the last one is contribution. A lot of time it's having that is giving. It really makes a difference in your life is when you give to others and you have that just appreciation and gratitude towards others and you pay it forward. That really bolsters your sense of self. Because you have value and it's very tangible when you see the reactions of others. So there's lots of little things through the 6 C's that you can do, from clarity to congruence to competence to connection to capability and then contribution, to build that confidence for yourself.
I love it that you say that confidence is a created thing. Like we're not
Yes.
all born when the confidence fairy gave us confidence. We can develop this.
Absolutely. It's a skill like any, it's just practice. And like, what is confidence at the end of the day? It's just your ability to take action, and it's courage. I mean, you have the courage to overcome the fear, to take the action, which builds the belief, and that belief builds the confidence. And it doesn't start out, we start out skinning our knees and falling down as kids, right? But we go after it like a 5-year-old in a Superman t-shirt, because we're excited about it. We're not, there's a lot of fears that we don't have as kids, and we should adopt that as adults with a growth mindset. It's just be open to learning, and less worried about fear of judgment and those sort of things.
Well, what is actually missing in the world from actually, we've all been disrupted. We all want to have grit. We all want to have amazing performance. Like, what happens? Like, every January, everybody's out there. I want this, I want that. Like, what's really missing from all the other like self-help programs that are out there?
Well, what I find there's a few things ideologically. It's just the foundation is the first one is that we're already more than enough. Like to understand that we were born perfect and everything else we learned. Like the only thing we had when we were children was the fear of failure, not a fear of failure. Duh. No, all the thing we had is a fear of loud noises and a fear of falling. Those are the only like survival mechanisms. Everything
Yeah.
else was learned. So we can unlearn things. So it's really about addition through subtraction. We have to take things away from our life that are hindering us from becoming our best selves. And what I find from the practical execution of that is that what's missing is that people are trying to put more onto it in two ways. One is that they're always trying to resolve a symptom and not the cause. So they'll talk about individual like procrastination or hesitation or fear or confidence, but they won't talk about the bigger picture of who you are and who you need to become. We get stuck in this thing called the have do be paradigm. And that's where we think we can't do anything until we have the perfect plan, enough money, or that bigger network, or whatever it is, in order to do those things, to achieve the things we want, to then be that person that we envision, that we say every January 1st, I want to be this or be that. And it's actually backwards. Is actually we have to become that person first in order to do the hard things to then have what we want. Because right now, if you don't have what you want, you can't get it the way you currently are. And that strikes a lot of people the wrong way. I'm just saying, well, if you knew how to do it, you would have done it already. If you were the person that had the character traits and the things that could do it, then you would have done it. You just might need some instruction, some clarity, some perspective, some coaching to follow a new path to get that. What do I really want? Why do I want it? And how am I going to feel? Until you get that direction, then you can form a real plan with a North Star and then start executing on it to achieve your goals. So what happens is that we get stuck in this thing where we're waiting around for the right time, and there is no right time. It's the old adage, like, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Now. And
Yeah.
the last thing I'll say is that, and it kills me because I see it all the time coming through my feeds and things like that, is this: take this $7 course on confidence and this $12 course on how to do this and how to do that. And then now you're like, oh, I got to do the miracle morning. I got to get up at 5 a.m. I got to work out. I've got to do a cold bath. I got to do sauna. I have to do my affirmations and write in my journal and my manifestation. And dear, look at my vision board. And it's like noon already. And you're just overwhelmed. Stop adding to it. All of those things have its place, but those things aren't going to make the difference. The difference is, what do I need to become more disciplined? Who do I need to become? What are my character traits? What are those things that I need to do to create new behaviors and habits, get rid of old limiting beliefs? Because those are really the restrictions. We have the key to our mindset prison. We have limitations that we set for ourselves. We need to remove those and think bigger, and then acquire the skills to achieve them.
Oh, so much wisdom bombs in such a short interview. Let's just say for clarity. Okay, so we all have
Sure.
clarity. We all have goals. We want to dismantle limiting beliefs like you're not good
Mhm.
enough or you're not worthy or you're not lovable, and
Sure.
clear off your plate and be do have instead of have do be. Like all of these things are great, but is clarity, like having the awareness of the limiting beliefs, a good place to start? Like when let's say you failed before and you want to start something and then there's that voice in the back of your head.
Sure.
How do you get clarity just to start over?
Well, that's where you go into the dark, and you look in the mirror and you start and you go into the first shift. There are 5 shifts in my mindset freedom program that takes people through this sense. And that first one is that clarity in that self-awareness, where we work on those 3 questions. What is it that you really want? And that's a hard thing, because for most people, most of our life is built around serving others, whether it's our
Yeah.
family or our employees or our business. And we never really take that time to ourselves because we're taught we're being selfish, but we're actually being selfless to get really clear with what we want and how do we want to be more impactful and leave a legacy and pay it forward and be of service to others. that's where you got to get in touch with it. That's sort of the clarity in the dark, to ask yourself those questions and do it without any restraint. Kind of like the question, I say, if money were no option, or if you had a magic wand, or if you could wave your hand, what would your ideal life look like? Because it's about the what and the why. We get caught up in the how. Well, how am I going to do it? I don't have the resources or the money or the knowledge or the skill block. We start creating those limitations. Suspend your limiting belief for 5 seconds and just say, hey, in a miracle world, what do I want to achieve? And just focus on the what and the why. Because when you know what it is you want, why you want it, then the how will start to reveal itself. And this is where people need to have faith and belief in the process. It will come to you. This is the old adage of, Martin Luther King, Dr. King, who said, you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. And the first step is figuring out what that strong what is, and then the why. And how's it going to make you feel? When you tie those together, that is the clarity piece that will open the doors and allow your mind to expand, to then start searching for the right plan, the right process. The doors will open. Things you're going to have to go learn and acquire and go through to make all those things happen. So yeah, that's really where you want to start. That clarity piece starts with the self-awareness of exactly what you want to, who you want to become, and what you want to achieve.
I love how it starts with clarity. That is such a great step for you guys. Just listening to this whole series of Disrupted, How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. Any last words you want to leave our audience with?
You're more than enough. You have all the tools within you. You just have to make a decision. That's the only thing you have to do, is make a decision and commit to it. And then everything else is about acquisition and discipline and seeing it through.
Powerful words. Luke Harlan, I know you have a gift for our audience. Where can people find more of your wisdom?
Sure. At my website, lukeharlancoaching.com, LUKEHARLAN coaching.com. My gift for the audience is actually a clarity call, a 30-40 minute call with me to really help you ferret out those 3 questions, to give you a point in direction, so then you can move forward in the new year exactly where you want to go.
Well, thanks, Luke Harlan. That's a wonderful offer.
My pleasure.